Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe, with my co host over there, Angel, on the other side.
How's it going?
Well, they split the series this weekend on championship weekend. I don't know if you got your Jerry Pena MVP bobblehead, your World Series trophy. And I know in my background, I got the trophy right there and the Pena bobblehead showing out. But like I said, they split the series 2-2. So, I mean, it wasn't a bad series. Could have been better, but give me your one word to describe this past weekend.
I would say untimely. Just because we had some untimely hitting, we left a lot of runners on, and that could have really changed the dynamic of the game. I don't think the Astros played well, but there was a chance to even take. I believe all four games, or even 3 out of 1 games, or 3 or 4 games this homestand. But we just need to hit with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, I would say fair as my one word. I think they did a good job. Um, Bullpen starting pitching right now it looks a little rough, but hey, I mean they're barely getting back into play into season. Remember the Astros too. They're not they're not going to win a lot of games in the beginning of the season. It's usually in the mid to the end part of it. That's when we see them to ramp up and find their groove again. But I mean, 2-2. Can't go wrong. It could have been worse. You could have won 1-3, or you could have just gone on 0-4 the championship weekend when everybody got the banner, when everybody got the rings. But I mean, it was a beautiful sight to see over there on opening day. We were out there. We saw how the banner was unveiled. This time, they did not have to use the leaf blower to take the banner off. So it looked nice out there with the pennant showing out. And then on Friday, they gave out the rings, passed them out to each and everybody, one of the players. And I mean, everybody was excited to get their rings. I'm pretty sure you saw the mic up with Bregman and Pena and Tucker. I thought that would have been cool if somebody would have greedy to get their ring. I mean, they were putting out G's to see who could gritty to get their ring. And I mean, I would have done it for a couple G's. Like, I believe Tucker was the one that was trying to get somebody to do it. But a little bit of Astros roundup. We're going to give our pros and cons from this championship weekend against the Chicago White Sox. We'll preview a little bit of the game for Detroit as the Tigers come into town with AJ Hinch and Miguel Cabrera's last dance in the season. And then a little bit of around the league, what's going around. We even had one game that ended pretty quickly. So we'll talk about that later. But let's first get on with Astros Roundup, and we're going to discuss our pros and cons instead of usually recapping each game. This time, we're just going to do that. And, I'll start out with the pros. I think one thing you take positive out of this weekend was the 2-out hitting. The guys did a great
Oh
job
yeah.
hitting with 2 outs. I mean, the first two, like, for instance, I'm going to throw an example. I think Pena and Bregman were the first 2 out, and then Jordan came up. Abreu came up. Tucker came up. I mean, they each followed with a hit and, was able to score some runs. But Friday night, real quick, Tucker hits a 2-run homer to narrow the lead. And then Alvarez with that base clearing double to the gap to take the lead. And then obviously they won that game on Friday. Saturday comes, Tucker and the McCormick show, back-to-back RBI singles. Tucker with another RBI single to give the Astros the lead. And then Alvarez and Abreu with back-to-back RBI singles to give some insurance run for the Astros, and they went ahead and won that game on Saturday as well. So lineup doesn't look bad. Say the middle part is strong, I believe. Jordan Alvarez is doing good. Abreu looked really good in his, the second part of that series. Of the last 2 games, he was hitting pretty well. And then Kyle Tucker's hitting pretty damn good as well. After that, Chas McCormick, he gives up some good at-bats, but 8 and 9 right now, that's kind of where the weakness is in that lineup.
Yeah,
But
that's definitely the worry for sure.
yeah, it's kind of what can we do there? But it's looking like the Astros are not going to be able to do nothing until Michael Brantley comes back and Jose Altuve comes back. Then we could really
Well,
see how this lineup shakes up, I'd say.
well, it can be like rookie jitters because if you think about it, I think Jokes was ninth. I'm sorry, Jokes was eighth, and I believe Yonder Diaz batted in the sixth hole as well. So I think it could be like first, like opening day jitters for them is like their first opening day experience. But we'll have to see in this next series to see how they respond after that.
Yeah, this next series, I think it's going to be pretty good for the Rooks to come out. Cesar Salazar even got his first plate appearance, got a walk, was able to get his first run. So, I mean, yeah, you could be right. It could be the jitters. We'll talk about a little bit of Yanni Diaz, but Corey Jokes didn't look bad. He got his first major league hit.
Mhm.
So, I mean, the Astros are just going to have to find a way to get that 8-9 going. Other than that, I think the offense is all right. It's not strong like we want it to be with Michael Brantley and Altuve. Obviously, they're hurt, but as of right now, I mean, the offense isn't that bad. So the next pro I'm gonna say is Jordan Alvarez. The hand looks
Oh
fine.
yeah, he looked good. He
The
looked
hand
good.
looks fine. He has a 455 batting average, one home run, five RBIs. I mean, this guy doesn't look like he missed a beat at all. I mean, from
Yeah,
the last plate appearance over there in Game 6 of the World Series to coming over here for the weekend series against the White Sox. I mean, he looked pretty damn well, if you ask me.
yeah, definitely. And when he hit that home run like in game one, like the crowd was already cheering. And once you hit the sound of the bat, I feel like that sound of his bat just like out, like it was louder than the fans, and it was just a massive shot. And he looked, yeah, like you said, he looks fine. He was hitting the ball all over the field.
Yeah, and it looks pretty good too without that shift. He had a ball up
Yeah,
the middle that was next to, I believe, the second baseman. That would have been an easily out right there if the shift had was in play in that time. But no shift. I mean, it looks like no problem for Jordan Alvarez. So he got a rest day yesterday's game on Sunday. Baker even said it himself that he's not going to put him out there a lot of the times. He's going to obviously give him some rest days because Alvarez is still coming back
yeah,
from spring training. I mean, he only came back for that last week, and that was it. So, I
yeah. I
mean,
think
he'll
he said
ramp
it
up.
was.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think he said it was 3 games and then a rest day for the first few weeks.
Yeah, so I mean, the thing, he's gonna ramp up. It's a little bit of progress that we're gonna have to deal with, but no need to worry, no worriness or anything like that, no injuries. So I mean, Jordan looks good as long as he is in that Astros lineup. I think they're gonna win. Like I said, they're gonna win most of the games. And then last but not least, for my last pro is that the Astros look pretty good on the bases. There wasn't a lot of stolen bases, I believe, last year for the Astros. This year, of course, with the bigger bases, the limit of pickoffs too, with only the pitchers throwing two. They look aggressive at the backs, and they had a stolen base each game. The Astros have a total of 6 stolen bases in 4 games, so that's pretty good. And then Chas McCormick, he plays the last 2 games. He leads the team with 3 stolen bases, so that's setting the tone right there. Excuse me, letting the guys know, hey, I'm going to do everything that I can to start each and every day for the Astros.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like Chas McCormick can see more playing time coming in now, and I'll go in more into that in a little bit. But let's go into the cons now. The cons, like the not the bad stuff we saw, but the things we hoped for them to improve for the next series. Start off with Alex Bregman. He's 0 for 16 starting off the season with 2 walks and 7 strikeouts. Now, I'm not too worried about this. I feel like he's been hitting into some bad luck. I forgot which game it was, but he had a hard line drive in the gap, and Luis Robert just made a great play in it. And Luis Robert make plays all over the
And
field. I
yeah,
feel like,
I'm glad we're not going to see him this this next
yeah,
coming week
he,
because he was covering the ground. I mean, he's
yeah,
showing why he was a 2020 Gold Glove winner. So I mean, yeah, he covers the whole field over there in center.
yeah, he rubbed Tucker twice, and again, like I'm saying, Bregman had a good shot, and he was able to catch that. But I feel he picks it up. He's been hitting to some bad luck. It's baseball, you go into some slumps, but one little bloop hit, one little single down the 5-4 gap, can change things around.
Yeah,
Another
I
thing
have
that we
no
need
problem
to
with him.
Oh yeah, another thing we need to see is Yonder Diaz. We need to display that power and that offense that he's been showing in spring training and in in the minor leagues. The way he swings, it feels like he's chopping at it a little bit. I feel like he's been hitting a lot of things to the ground, or like even just swinging and missing at that. I think he's like a little over eager to swing at any pitch. He's 0 for 6 with a hit by pitch, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Again, just going back to, I feel like those are rookie jitters, and it's his first opening day. Trying to help the team out in a big way, trying to stay on the roster because he knows that Brantley and Altuve are coming up soon. I think he's just trying to do too much at that point. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he is. I think, like you said, it could be the rookie jitters, but this guy was on the roster last year in September. And I mean, he's probably the only one on that rostered between him, Cesar Salazar. Who's another one that's on there? I mean, I can't remember at the top of my head, but I mean, he's the one probably with more experience than them other
Yeah,
guys. Corey Jokes, that's the other guy. But like you said, I mean, he's chopping at the ball. It looks like he's, like you said, that was a perfect way to explain it. Over eager. I mean, he's swinging at everything that he can. He does put some good at bats, but of course, when you're trying to hit anything at any way,
yeah,
then there's going to be a lot of swing and misses. There's going to be a lot of foul balls. Of course, if you have more than six balls thrown at you, I mean that's a
yeah.
quality at bat. But at the same time, too, you got to put the ball in play and be able to at least hit a single and things like that. So, I mean, he's going to be very important though. This next 2 months since Altuve's out, there's no timetable yet for Michael Brantley. I'm hoping the end of April at least. So, I mean, he's going to have to step up in a big way if he can.
Oh yeah, he's really antsy. Hopefully, like Dusty Baker talks to him about that, time to calm down. Just take it one pitch at a time. But I think we'll see him change a little bit next series. Another thing that they actually need to work on is their starting pitching. Now, I feel like it was a little disappointing that some pitchers couldn't go over 4 innings, 5 innings, and I think that was one of the big things that affected the bullpen. And we'll get into the bullpen in a bit because it's early on and they're having to throw so many innings. So our starting pitchers, Javier had a no decision. He threw 5 innings pitch, 8 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. He wasn't. I don't think he was. His stuff wasn't as good as it was. Like he wasn't causing a lot of swings and misses, but it was a first start. I think he's still trying to get it going. He did have that short spring training because he was at the World Baseball Classic with the Dominican Republic. So I think once he gets a little bit more starts under his belt, he should be good to go. Same thing could be said with Urquidy because he was with Team Mexico as well. He pitched four innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. He gave up 2 home runs as well. I think he got a bit into trouble early on. He had an inning where he threw 30 pitches, which can be like the same amount as 2 innings, right? So he just had to,
Hmm.
he just had to work too much. He got himself into trouble, and I think that affected him a lot. Luis Garcia wasn't any different as well. He did get the loss in this game. He threw 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Gave up a home run as well. I feel like a starting pitcher needs to be better. Um, did Framber go 6 innings or he went five as well?
He went 5 innings, but I mean, he was
Okay,
probably the best starter out of all of them.
yeah,
I mean, Hunter Brown still hasn't pitched. He'll pitch tonight's game against the Detroit Tigers. But like you were saying, though, with these guys, you expect them to be better, but at the same time, too, I'm not really tripping about it because
it's early on.
it's early. It's so early in the season. There's no need to panic. We've seen Christian Javier's stuff. We've seen Jose
Yeah,
Urquidy's stuff. Luis Garcia as well. I mean, but all of them showed out in the WBC. So I mean, I'm not too worried. Well, of course, we would have not liked to see 3 earned runs from each one of these starters. But at the
yeah.
same time, too, it's understanding. It's early in the season. I'm not really tripping. When it gets to, kind of the end of April, then
Yeah.
that's when we could be a little Nancy about it. But right now, I mean, too early in the season to judge.
Yeah, we split the series 2-2. It wasn't bad. And I'm just glad they got out of there healthy. Like, and Max Fried with the Braves got hurt on his opening day start. So I'm just glad they're
Yeah.
healthy. They'll pick it up, and I'm sure like we'll start getting in the groove. And usually, like you said, Astros are a very slow team. So again, not worried at all. I feel like they're a second half team anyways.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like our starting pitcher, like I said earlier, did affect our bullpen because our bullpen wasn't as expected. I feel like last year they put up in star-studded performance. I feel like once we had the lead, there was no turning back. Just that's how good our bullpen was. This time was a little shaky. Montero gave up a tying home run. Pressey gave up 2 earned runs. Um, in the gap, Pressey gave up 2 earned runs in the gap to Andrew Vaughn. And Friday and Saturday he was unavailable because he wasn't feeling well. So maybe that could have been something going on with him as well. But again, I think he picks it up. And then Martinez gave up 3 earned runs on Sunday's game. So it was a rough start. Overall, there were 17 inning pitch, 16 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 walks, and 20 strikeouts. This was not like them. And I feel it was just because the stars couldn't go later in the game. So they had to pitch. For example, I think Mayton pitched twice, Montero pitched twice, and Abreu pitched twice as well. So it's just like using a lot of guys early on. Even Dusty said that he was an advocate to adding an extra arm um, for the opening series or like the first few weeks because these guys are still getting ready. These guys are still having to like get over the effects of spring training and like they're getting their arm
Mhm.
loose. So I think once a few weeks, give them and they'll be back to normal.
Yeah, I'm not worried too much about the bullpen. Seth Martinez, of course, we had it. These guys' arms are going to be tired. I mean, when you have Javier Valdez, Garcia go 5 innings, and then even Jose or Keating going 4 innings, I mean, it's going to tire the bullpen. And then you still got 3 games, really 4 games, because they're playing 3 against the Tigers, and then they're going to fly to Minnesota to play the Twins for 1 game and then an off day, which does not make
Yeah, it
sense at
makes
all.
no sense. Yeah,
It does not, but that's how the schedule is. And I mean, these starters are going to have to find a way. Hopefully, Hunter Brown does go over at least 6 innings for the guys. But of course, he's coming back from that back tightness. So I
yeah,
don't know how long Bill Murray and them are and Josh Miller is going to keep him out there. I mean, that's another thing to consider. But
yeah. I'll be curious to see for sure how long they let him go out there. I'm sure he's gonna have a pitch count, maybe 85, 90 pitches, but it could be even less again because he's coming back from that back issue. But it's just like I feel like Dusty's in a loop. It's like, do I extend Hunter Brown to save the bullpen a little bit, or do I limit him and just tax the bullpen again? Because again, we don't have a break till Friday, so we'll see how
mhm.
that works out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they're going to use Ronel Blanco for a couple of innings. I think that's probably going to
He
be
looked
your
good.
number one source. Yeah, he looked good. Brian Abreu as well, maybe 2 innings. Hunter Hector Neris didn't look that bad at all either. So we'll just have to see. Like I said, the bullpen looks a little tired, but I'm not too worried about it. It's too early in the season really to judge anybody. So I mean, this was our pros and cons just for this series. It's not talking about the whole overall
Yeah,
season, what's going to happen. So far, I mean, like we said, the Astros split the series against the White Sox in their championship weekend of all the giveaways that these guys were getting. But since we're talking about Hunter Brown, let's move into the preview against the Detroit Tigers. Tigers went 0-3 in their series against the Tampa Bay Rays. They lost 4-0, 12-2, and 5-1. So there's a really bright side to this because Tigers don't look good. They don't look like they're
their
strong,
offense is
which
wow.
yeah, they're really not a strong team to consider. But the Astros have had their problems back then playing down to the competition. And that's
Oh
one
yeah,
thing that we don't need this coming 3 game series against them. Um, Matthew Boyd was 2-0, 135 ERA last year for the Tigers and the Seattle Mariners. He was with the Mariners at the trade deadline. Hunter Brown, 2-0, 0.89 ERA last season as well. They both will make their debut for 2023. So let's break it down. Matthew Boyd did pitch a lot in 2022. He was out majority of the season due to a flexor tendon surgery that he had in his obviously like his flexor tendon. And then 2019 and 2020, Boyd led the league in home runs allowed. So there's a possibility that these Astros like Jordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, maybe Jeremy Pena, um, Jose Abreu, maybe he could get his first home run in the Crawford boxes
yeah.
this series. I mean, this is a great opportunity for them to put the long ball into the Crawford boxes or into the right field stands. So I mean, we've seen Matthew Boyd a lot too as well. Hunter Brown, like we said, he's coming back from that back tightness. He pitched a simulated game Wednesday, sitting at 94 to 98 miles per hour with the fastball. Dana Brown even said that his cutter was back, which is a positive sign. Remember,
That's
this
good to
guy,
hear.
yeah, remember this guy has a 91 to 93 mile per hour slider. I mean, they compare it to Jacob DeGrom's, which is, Jacob DeGrom's a pretty damn good guy.
Yeah, that's saying
Uh,
something for sure.
yeah, and I mean, one start against Detroit, he had 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. So, like I said, I mean, this is a positive way to start this series. Maybe get a sweep against the Tigers. Maybe Hunter Brown, like we said, we might need him to go 5 or 6 innings, but like you said too, as well, it could be a pitch count because of the back tightness that he has had. And then we're going to go on to Matt Manning and Framber Valdez for Tuesday's game. Matt Manning's 2-3 with a 3.43 ERA. This is last year's stats. Framber Valdez, he already pitched on opening day, so he's 0-0 with the 0 ERAs, which is pretty good. So Manning's never faced the Astros at all. He has never faced the Astros in his, I believe, his 4-year, 5-year career that he has had. Fastball, about a 93 average, slider 84, curveball 80, and he has an 86 average changeup. So we're going to see four of those. Obviously, the fastball and slider is going to be his bread and butter. Excuse me. And Framber Valdez, on the other hand, he had the no decision against Chicago White Sox. 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 4 strikeouts. I mean, that game he just really didn't have offense to support him. So I mean, he pitched a good game. I mean, also give credit to Dylan Cease. We didn't even talk about that. Dylan
Oh
Cease had a
yeah,
hell of a
he was lights
performance.
out
Yeah, he had a hell of a performance on opening day. Showed you why he was the runner-up for the Cy Young Award last year. So getting off track though, but Valdez, he's the ground ball king for a reason, right? Generating 9 ground balls out of 15 outs. That says something. He has a high percentage of the ground ball, of course, as well. So what we most likely we could see that coming into Tuesday's game. Hopefully, Framber could pick up his first win in the season, and the Astros could dominate Matt Manning's first start against the Astros.
Yeah, I think this Detroit lineup really plays into Framber Valdez's strength. Like there are a lot of free swingers out there, so they look to like get on pitchers early, so they'll tend to need to swing more, which will give way to his breaking ball and those slower off speed pitches. And they hit a lot. They hit a lot of ground balls as well. So they'll we'll be looking into that. I feel like he can get a win on this one. I feel like he can even go 7 in the start, just because again this lineup plays into his strength.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get his pitch count kind of ramped up this game. It's a perfect, like I said, this series is a perfect opportunity for the starting pitchers to get back in their groove. Same thing as the bullpen as well, because we're gonna need that to kind of start getting better when it comes on. Like you said, we only have, I think there's only 3 off days in this month of April, so it's gonna be very important for these guys to get their pitch count ramped up. And then the Wednesday's game, this is a 110 start time, so don't forget about that. Eduardo Rodriguez is going to go against Christian Javier. Rodriguez is 0-1 with a 5.06 ERA. He didn't pitch. I mean, he pitched decent, but the offense, like I said, Detroit's offense is really not working at the moment. Hopefully that doesn't work with us and we keep it the same how it was in Tampa Bay. But his last outing against Tampa, he was 5 1/3, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Houston, I mean, he's had a problem with them, up and down as well. His last outing against them, 5 innings pitched, 10 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. This is a good opportunity. I mean, you're probably going to see Chas McCormick in this lineup because Chas had a great high OPS against the left-handed pitchers last year. Eduardo Rodriguez is a left-handed pitcher, so I won't be surprised. Hopefully, I'm not saying Jake Myers is bad, but this is a strength to Chas, and we got to see Chas in this lineup against Rodriguez. Rodriguez has struggled the times when he was with Boston. Yeah, I mean, even last year as well with the Tigers, I believe at the second half of the season, he had left back to home to his house in Florida, and he never came back
Oh,
to the Tigers. So, I mean, the Astros got to continue doing what they're doing. Christian Javier, on the other hand, he is 0-0 with a 5.40 ERA. Like we said, he gave up them 3 earned runs in his last outing with the no decision. But his only start, I believe, against Detroit, he did pretty damn good. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 8 strikeouts. This is, like you said, they have a lot of free swingers. Baez, Candelario, Austin Meadows. I'm pretty sure we'll see some Miguel Cabrera action on here, but Miguel Cabrera is a veteran. He's a future Hall of Famer. He knows what he's doing.
oh yeah,
But swing and misses. I mean, this is the perfect guy that throws a lot of strikeouts to these batters. I mean, he's always induced them some way, somehow. And, I think this is a great opportunity for this whole starting rotation from Hunter Brown to Framber Valdez to Christian Javier to get back in the groove of things. Like you said, maybe pitch 5 to 6, not even, well, you want to pitch 5, but we want to see more than 5. We want to see 6, possibly
yeah,
7 for Framber Valdez and Christian Javier. This bullpen's going to need some help because this is 4 straight games well, 8 straight games in a row since opening day till their next off day, which is on a Friday. They're going to have to help their bullpen some way somehow, and that's first by doing good pitching.
for sure.
So we usually give out our offensive and pitching MVPs and hot takes. And the offensive MVP for me last week, I had Jordan Alvarez. My pitching was Brian Abreu. My hot take was Jeremy Pena striking out only, max 4 times and hitting more than 4 times. I was almost right. I had basically 2 out of 3. If Pena didn't get that last strikeout in the Sunday's game, I would have had perfect. I mean, Alvarez hit the ball well. Brian Abreu looked solid out of the bullpen, and then I mean, Jerry Pena did really well. He only had 5 strikeouts this series. I said max of 4, but it happens. I'm not tripping. I did pretty well. So, real quick, give me your offense, give me your pitching, give me your hot take.
Well, I went 1 out of 3. I had Tucker as my offensive VP, but I had Javier and Abreu uh, as the other two. I didn't hit on those, but this week, hoping for better things. My offensive VP is Jordan Alvarez. He continues to stay hot. I feel like this Detroit, he's going to make a living off this Detroit pitching staff. Like you said, Matt Boy led the league in home runs, allowing home runs, and these Detroit Stars are coming off a rough patch from their previous season against the Rays. And one of them, they allowed 12 runs. So I,
Yeah.
I, I think he continues to stay hot. We'll see him maybe hit a home run or two this series. For my pitching MVP is Ryan Presley. He had a rough first opening day start. I mean, sorry, a closing situation. I think he gets gets 2 saves this series, and we'll see the Presley from old, where he's, you know, with that amazing walk up song and cutting people down in the strike zone for sure. My hot take is Chaz will stay hot and slowly start taking over the center field position. Like I feel like his base running and his yeah, and I feel like he's been a little bit more patient this year,
Yeah.
drawing a few walks. I feel that keeps him going. He stays in the lineup, and I feel like he'll distinguish himself as the center fielder starting even this second series.
Yeah, I mean his play discipline has really done well these past 2 games, and then plus on the bags, I mean he's leading the team in stolen bases with a little small sample size of 3. But I mean he looks really good in his first 2 games. He got hit in the hand, which is was very scary because we already have enough Astros players on the IL. You got
Yeah,
McCullers,
for sure.
Altuve, Brantley, but luckily he stayed in and he was able to tough it out. But I mean, I won't oppose those 3 takes that you got there, right? And with mine, I'm gonna go ahead and say my first one's gonna be Jose Abreu. Jose Abreu came from the Chicago White Sox. That's the AL Central. You know who was there? The Detroit Tigers. So I feel like Jose Abreu knows that pitching
Oh
staff
yeah.
over there in Detroit. I mean, career wise, 342, 198 hits, 27 home runs, 119 RBIs against the Detroit Tigers. I'm calling it right now. You know, you said last week that Jose Abreu will find the Crawford boxes. This is the series that he's going to find the Crawford boxes.
I
Hopefully,
believe it.
yeah, so hopefully he can. I think he'll stay hot throughout this series against the Tigers. Pitching, I'm gonna go with the starter this time. I go Christian Javier. We're gonna have to see him step up. Like you said, I already mentioned with the swing and misses, the swing and miss rate, the strikeout rate. He's always had a strikeout per 9 innings. He has a pretty high percentage last year, so I think it's gonna continue on to the second start. He'll find the groove of things as well with the fastball and slider command that he has. Hot take, and this is it's a weird hot take because Alex Bregman really should be over whatever his batting average right now is, which is 0. But he's going to hit out of this slump. This is the perfect series to hit out of
I
this
think
slump
so.
against the pitchers. The bullpen's been taxed over there as well since they pitched a lot over there in Tampa Bay. So he will hit over, he will hit out of this slump. He's going to hit over 400 this series. And it's going to happen with the Brady bomb to start it off. I think Bregman's
Oh
going to get a
well.
home run because he was close Sunday. I mean, it was close from
Yeah.
the foul
I
pole
mean, he's
left
been
field.
hitting the ball.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, he's been.
he looks solid. I mean, I'm not tripping about it. Like I said, like you said too. I mean, this is baseball. It's a slump. It happens to the best of these guys, and unfortunately, right now it's happening to Bregman. But he's gonna hit out of it. I think, like I said, he'll go over 400 at least in his batting average, and we're gonna get a little bit of taste of that Breggy bomb out there in Minute Maid Park.
Oh yeah, I believe so. Those are really pretty good picks, and hopefully Javier pans out for you. And I feel like he can pitch up 6 strong for sure.
Yeah,
Moving on
I'm
to
hoping as well.
around, sorry, moving on to around the league. So this was our first taste. Yeah, like we saw these new rule changes in spring training, but now it's with the games that count. And I feel like the pitch timer is coming into play in a huge way. Like in total, there was a total of 14 pitch clock violations on opening day. And the one was the crazier one for me was that McNeil started in a bat with 1 strike, because Peter Alonso took too long on the bases.
Yeah,
Like
I saw that.
I feel that was a little crazy for me
Yeah,
because
I
I mean
think
that's out of. Go ahead.
Brandon Marsh too. I mean, did you see the CB Buckner call on him?
Oh no, I didn't. I missed.
I
I might have
mean,
missed
he
that
he
one.
took a strike because he took so long, and Marsh is like, "What the hell?" Like I was ready, and you're already giving me an automatic strike. So I thought that was pretty funny because CB Buckner too is probably one not the best umpires out there in the league.
And we actually had our first player to strike out on the pitch clock, and that being Rafael Devers. Like I feel like it'll happen less as his hitters adjust, but I mean that's a crazy way to strike out. I would be upset honestly. And Marcus Stroman was the first pitcher to be called for a pitch clock violation in the league. But in all, we had eight, again, 14 pitch violations, eight by a pitcher, four by a batter, one by a base runner, and one by a catcher. So hopefully those numbers start to decrease and pitchers adjust. But it's been kind of a mixed emotions throughout the league. Some people like it, some people don't. The average game time for opening day games was this year actually dropped 26 minutes. So it was a little
Wow,
less. I believe the average time was 3 minutes and 11 seconds. And this time it was, I'm sorry, 11
you
minutes.
mean
And this time,
3 hours?
yeah, what did I say?
You said 3 minutes and 11 seconds.
Oh, I'm off all the
three
way. So
three
yeah,
hours and 11 minutes.
3 hours and 11.
I was about to say, man. Gosh.
Yeah, it's 3 hours and 11 minutes. Now it's down to 2 hours and 45 minutes. And actually, we had a quick one in Seattle. The Cleveland and Seattle game took 2 hours and 3 minutes to finish. I feel like you go out to
Wow.
get a soda and some snacks without those lines, you miss like half the game already. Like that's crazy.
I kid you not. I was watching what was I watching at the time? I was watching I think I was watching Grown Ups too. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna switch the game real quick since the movie finished. I was like, okay, well,
Yeah,
Seattle and Cleveland's still playing. Next thing you know, Fox Sports is showing Poppy and A Rod, and I'm like, what the hell? What happened to the game? And I looked at my phone real quick, and it was already over. I'm like, what the heck? And it was they said 2 hours and 3 minutes. I was like, come on now. I mean, I like it, but at the same time too, it just doesn't feel the same. It just does
okay,
not
yeah.
feel the same.
I was about to ask you for your like take on it, but I agree with you. Like it happened to me actually Sunday night as we were planning for this podcast. I had the background of the Phillies and Rangers game, and I was like just in and out, like typing something up, and I turned and I see the ESPN Sports, and I was like, bro, like when I looked at it, it was like in the seventh inning, and it's already finished. Like it doesn't take quite a while to adjust.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's because like I like longer baseball games. I feel like being in the ballpark's a great environment. You get some drinks, you get some food, you're chilling, you're happy. But you know, I kind of like the pitch clock, but maybe it'll grow on me. What do you think?
It's the same thing with me. It's mixed emotions. Like you were saying, people are getting out of work. I know some people are tired too. You go to the ball game and then you want to leave because you got to work the next day. I understand that
Yeah,
too. But when you have pitchers duels, like let's for instance, Corbin Burns versus Max Scherzer. I mean, that could go 0-0 all the way to the eighth inning. And I kid you not, I'm pretty sure that would be an hour and 40 something minute game or 50 minute. So it's
yeah,
like it kind of sucks. I understand what they're trying to do is make, the game a little faster, but I mean, I like that old school mentality as well. Of
for
course, it's
sure.
situations of when the pitcher doesn't like a certain pitch. I mean, you got to hurry up. You got to decide what pitch you could throw to that batter. If the same thing, the pitchers and catchers are not, on the same page, it's kind of gonna ruin the mindset, I think. And with the hitters too being in the box, I mean, like you said, there was about four by the batter this coming weekend. Well, not even this coming, but this weekend. Um, Rafael Devers striking out on a pitch like that. I don't like that part at least. The offensive
Yeah,
wise, I just don't like that.
yeah. I feel like there's still some kinks that need to be worked out, but maybe even giving them like 20 seconds, 25 seconds, like when there's butters on. I feel like that's a little bit more fair because I feel like 15 seconds flies by. But it's the inception of it. They'll adjust. Maybe the baseball makes some adjustments on the pitch clock as well, make it a little longer, or figuring out what works best for both parties. But the bigger bases have been in full effect as well. There was 21 stolen bases on opening day, so we're seeing a lot of more stolen bases. Like for example, Corbin Carroll today stole on back-to-back pitches stole second and third base, and it's crazy because in the first 3 games there was a total of 49 stolen bases. I feel like that's kind of unheard of in recent years. And the Orioles are 10-10 stolen bases and are the first
Oh
team to
wow,
get 10. Yeah,
10.
and that's on the Red Sox alone. So they need to figure something out on them. But my question for you is: last year there was a total of 2,487 stolen bases. Are you taking the over or under? I think that's an easy answer, but I want to hear what you got.
I'll take the under. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I'm taking the
I was
over.
gonna say,
I'm
I was
taking the
like,
over.
I
I'm
don't know
taking
about
the.
that one.
You gotta take the over on this. I mean, the Orioles are already 10-10. Like I said, the Astros are six. They have six stolen bases. Um, this past series, Chas McCormick looked good on the base. Just imagine until Jeremy Pena starts running, Kyle Tucker as well, David Hensley. I think they both have got caught stealing some games. So I'm a big over guy on this. I'm very excited. Like this is the one I like. I really like the
Yeah.
bigger bases because you're testing the speed and the ability of these athletes. You're showing the athlete of the baseball player. And
Mhm.
Jeremy Pena is one of them. Like you said, Corbin Carroll is another. Um, I mean, there's a bunch of Julio Rodriguez, Kyle Tucker. We're going to see a lot of these guys steal bases, and then plus the awards too with the 30-30 coming into play. You even got some rookies that could go 20-20 as well. Jordan Walker had a stolen base, like you said. Corbin Carroll too had 2 stolen bases. So I'm here for the bigger bases. I love it. I love it to death. I actually went to the Astros Authentic Shop just to see what they had, and them bases are huge. Them bases are big, dude. You can see
I
the
haven't
3 inch
seen them.
difference. You can see the 3 inch difference. You could see the 3 inch difference. I'm telling you that right now.
You know what's funny? Since like the bigger, like the bases are bigger, right? So
Mhm.
you know how when the Astros do when the little kids get to see like steal the bases, I wonder if they're heavier. I wonder if they're gonna be like
Well,
running over them.
actually, I think a little kid either yesterday's ball game or Saturday's had grabbed the base and she fell down, and then she's like, "Oh shit, I got to pick the base back up and run." Of course, Minute Maid, the Astros, they're gonna put the time, until they cross the line before it hits zero. But yeah, it affects the kids as well. It affects them because obviously you had 2 little kids uh fell down this weekend because of the base. So, but I love it. I love the bigger bases.
Yeah,
I'm very excited to see the speed out of these athletes.
yeah, and then okay, so to wrap up the homestand, the Astros are in third place. They went 2-2. They split the series with the White Sox. The Rangers surprisingly won three. Um, I believe they played 3 games.
Yeah, it's 3 games.
They they went 3 out of 1 against the Philadelphia Phillies, which and I believe in the first 2 games they scored 27 runs, which
20,
that
yeah,
offense
27,
that
27.
offense might be looking a little different. Like Jacob Degrom got rocked a little bit, but again, just how I feel like it takes more longer for pitchers to get ready than hitters. So I feel like we'll be seeing Jacob Degrom avoid a little bit soon.
How,
The
how do you
Mariners,
how do you feel
go
real
ahead.
quick on the Phillies since we're talking about them, the NLCS champs? What do you think about these guys? Because 0-3, they
Yes,
already pitched Aaron Nola, they pitched Zach Wheeler.
and they didn't
Nah,
look good.
they don't.
They didn't look good.
Nah,
I mean,
that's why I didn't pick them as my wild card. I feel like the Braves, of course, that starting pitching rotation, the bullpen's not bad. Offense is there. The Mets too. You've seen the Mets. I
well,
think they won 3.
well, the thing about the NL East, I feel like there's always a second half team.
Mhm.
Like we saw the Braves that got hot late and end up winning the World Series. Even the Nationals started off, I think they were like 12 and 20 something, 12 and 30, and then they got hot late and won the World Series.
Mhm.
We saw the Phillies this year; they got hot late and they went to the World Series. Like I feel like they can like I feel like in the NL East, it doesn't matter how you start, it's how you finish. So
Yeah.
yeah, like the Phillies are off to a rough start, but once they get Harper back, once they get like the injury players back, I feel like that can be a different story. But they need to work on their pitching for sure, and I think that bullpen needs to be better.
Yeah. I believe they had a good second half last season, the Phillies. That's why they
Yeah.
won all their
Mhm.
games. So I just want to get that perspective from you.
No, yeah. I mean, again, it's early on. Like there's still
Mhm.
some growing pains going. So I feel like if they're still bad at the middle season, then I don't think they'll make it. But we'll see how it goes. Surprisingly, the Mariners. I don't know if you can call it surprise because the Guardians do have a really good team. They went 1-3 at home. and then the A's are even above them. They won one against the Angels, and the Angels are fourth. Mariners are in fifth. What do you think about
Wow.
the Mariners?
Yeah, that's shocking. But then again, they played against the Guardians, and I think the Guardians are still a good team. Even, people didn't know about them last year, and they weren't even supposed to be in the postseason, and they showed out. They almost beat the Yankees. I mean, they added Josh Bell this offseason. Jose Ramirez is going to be an MVP candidate, obviously, and then Andres Jimenez just got that huge contract extension. They're good. They're good. Shane Bieber, Cal Quantrill. I don't think he had his stuff. You still got Zach Plesac. Tristan McKenzie is on the IL, unfortunately for them.
Mhm.
But so far, the Mariners and Astros are kind of almost on the same page. We're not in fifth place, obviously, but I still think they're both are going to be the ones. And speaking of Angels, did you see that Anthony Rendon video that was surfacing
Oh
the social
yeah,
media? That was crazy.
yeah, that's crazy. Like I
He
feel like you don't expect that as a player, like
mhm.
because like when you go to Yankee Stadium, when you go to like these supposedly really fan personality stadiums, like
Bleacher
they talk
creatures.
so much mess. Yeah, they talk so much mess, and I don't know. I feel like as a player, you just have to be the bigger person in that situation. Like there's no need for that. I think that's a bad example for children that are watching the game,
Mhm.
and I feel that's just a bad example.
Shoot, Miles Straw climbed the fence at at Yankee Stadium.
You see, that's different though. That's different because he was there defending his guy. He
Hmm.
didn't put his hand on a person. I feel like that's cool to
Yeah, he was trying to.
spread music
He kind of
word.
almost instigated though because he's like, you know, punch me like mofo and
Yeah,
things like that. But yeah, I mean, Rendon brought out the Houston in him on that one, dude. He brought the hood in him on that.
that's not rice like bro.
Wayne Graham wouldn't like that. He would have been very disappointed if he saw Anthony. I don't know if he called Anthony Rendon at that time, but I mean, Wayne Graham's one of the best college coaches in baseball history. But before we get off our show, we got to shout out our winners. I mean, thank you to all who have participated in our giveaways and our new
We got
followers.
2,000.
Yes, we got 2,000. Thank y'all so much. That was really big on y'all. We just appreciate, like we said, just we're giving y'all some good content, some Astros content as well. But the appreciation, I mean, that's very big for us. New followers and new baseball Astro fans out there, welcome to our pod. We're going to give you the best Astros content, the best baseball content. We're going to try and interview some guys. It's going to be a fun season. You're not going to want to miss it. We're very, very excited for this upcoming season, for everything, the opportunities that we're getting, doing these live recordings as well. We're very excited for Astros baseball to be back. But let's real quick, let's shout out our winners. And the first winner on Thursday's opening day giveaway was Brittany at Brit2428. Congratulations. You had won the Kyle Tucker stretch bobblehead. We will get that bobblehead out to you ASAP. It's probably in the mail right now. And then our second one was a pair of Astro tickets to see the Toronto Blue Jays when George Springer comes into town. That is
Be
a
a good
fan
series.
favorite. Yeah, and that's going to be a good series too. It could be a postseason playoff type atmosphere. Um, they're going to go Monday night on Space City Night. And you're going to get an Astros tote bag as well from the giveaways I think the Astros are giving out.
I think
So,
it's first 10,000 fans, so get there early.
yeah, first 10,000 fans, make sure you try to get there if you want that Astros tote. But congratulations to Alonzo Mendiola. He won the Astros and Blue Jays tickets. Just like I said, we appreciate you guys getting, helping us get followers, liking our stuff, we're just trying to give y'all the best content, the Astros content, the number one Astros content, really. And baseball fans as well. I mean, we're just not about Astros, which majority of the show is about Astros, but we like to go around the league. We like to talk about what's happening in the AL West, what's happening in the National League, what's happening in the American League, some headlines that are going around Major League Baseball. We like to get, some stuff out there and to let you know what it's all about. So continue to follow us at Full Steam Ahead on Twitter if you have not done so. Be sure, then you could get them giveaways. Then you could get that notification when we send out some tweets, the lineups as well. Excuse me. And then we just launched TikTok as well. So we're gonna be, like we said, we had some interviews. We're gonna be trying to do. Just be lookout on TikTok. We'll be out there trying to get some guys, get their feedback. Well, not really feedback, but what they're. We're gonna be having some fun interviews, basically. and it's going to be a good time. So make sure you follow us at TikTok. We're at Full Steam Ahead on there. Give us a follow, give us a like on our videos. We only have 3 videos out right now, so the more the more is to come later on, but we're trying to grow that platform. And then if you have not done so already, follow us, subscribe to us, download us at all your podcasts, Spotify, not Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts as well. We already launched our YouTube channel, so subscribe, hit that like button whenever we put out that content out there. So that is all. Angel, you have anything else?
Yeah, thank you for bearing with us. I know this is only our second live recording, and there's still some growing pains, to be heard. So, thank you for sticking with us. We're trying to give you the best content, trying to give you the most accurate, and make it a little fun. Like we don't want this like
Yeah.
boring newscast. Like we want it to be interactive, fun, and hopefully we can have some guest stars up. That's in the works too, trying to get some people going. But again, we're trying to expand our social media. Like we're trying to have some fun videos, maybe some rapid fire questions for the players going. So, just bear with us. We'll get better and peace.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Like we said, have a marvelous Monday. Be safe out there. Hopefully the Astros bring out the brooms on this series against the
Bring
Tigers,
it
and
out.
hopefully they don't pull down to the competition. But that is all. Like we said, happy marvelous Monday. We'll talk to you guys later. See ya.